Okay. Good evening. It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today is the 15th of February, 2022. I'm coming to you from Baker's Green Acres here in downtown Marion, Michigan. And cold day today. It's pretty cold here in the back room. I've been sitting back here for a little while, trying to avoid people and had the door shut, so it's kind of cold. So I got my winter jacket on back here, but I'll probably be taking it off because I got the heater going here. And we have been having some terrible technical difficulties that are way beyond our control. Although when it clicked off last night and wouldn't restart, I just stood up and went and did something else because, you know, it's beyond my control. And I figure if it's not going to work, maybe we'll just do something else. I don't know. You know, if it doesn't work, we can't make it work. We've got to have some technical assistance on it. And Justin came through and sent me a link to a device that's supposed to boost the signal, but we've already done that twice. And I hate to be a defeatist, but when you kind of nurture a subject all day long and then some technical glitch happens and you're just shut off, you know, you get a little discouraged. So I got a little discouraged last night and I said, well, when you get this fixed, let me know. But I'm not going to come here and talk for a couple minutes. An internet provider, okay, well, they're working on it. You know, that's not what I do. I don't know about that stuff, and I haven't made it my business. Hey, Nicole, welcome. Okay, so if it holds and it's been fixed, it may be because a call went into the digital summit, whatever it is there that does our internet. And, you know, it's not like they'll call us back and say we fixed it, but all day long today, the internet seems to be working, right? Not on my phone, it isn't, you know, but I don't know. Jill says it's working. So here we are again. We're going to try it. I had some real enthusiasm last night for the subject that I wanted to talk about. And I still have the subject, but I'm waiting to see if we're gonna be able to hang in there. All right. Okay, an internet provider. Okay. And Nicole is with us. Right on. All right. Well, I might as well do my plugging right now. We have one seat left in the charcuterie class on the 5th and 6th. It's a Saturday and Sunday. 5th and 6th. Maybe that's correct. You know, my notes that I have right here. This is my desk, and I'm the one that does the show here, but my notes seem to disappear constantly. Yeah, it's the 5th and 6th. I got a lot to complain about tonight, don't I? Dave Smith, welcome. Yeah, I got plenty to complain about. All right, so the 5th and 6th, and don't remember, it's working, Jill. Okay. You know, I hate to be skeptical, but it's been, what? I don't know. The last 6 or 7 days, we get halfway into the show, and then it just freezes up. So maybe I need to have a more positive outlook on life, you know. Quit with the negative waves, right? All right, got 7 people in. That could be 7,000 people for all we know. We don't really understand this technology, do we? I know I don't. All right, but the charcuterie class is going to be the 5th and 6th. and charcuterie meaning preservation of Mangalitsa pigs. So when you get here Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, the pigs will already have been slaughtered. I will do them the day before, and we'll have them laid out just like we did during the hog harvest class. We'll have them laid out on the wagon, and then we'll do a little bit of overlap in that we were going to break those to primals, and then some of those primals we're going to take down further into, subprimals, and then start the salting process and the grinding process and the render processes that we do to charcutered products. And just for a little clarification, charcuterie these days seems to be like an artisan culinary process. That's how it's presented, but it was originally a prepper move. All right, long time ago, preppers, or they used to call them survivalists back then, or before that they just called them homesteaders. They were people that needed to survive, and if you kill the pig in the summertime, well, you got to eat it in the summertime because there was no refrigeration, and you were kind of in rough shape if you couldn't get it all preserved somehow. And so they started salting. They started, there's another process. Jill talks about it all the time, where you put meat in crocks and then you cover it with hot fat. Can't think of what that is, but we're going to be doing some of that as well. Already breaking up on your end, huh? It's working so good, you look younger. Okay, Jack says it's breaking up on his end. Missing half of your words. My wife says Jack has a problem. He needs to add fake snowflakes falling with his winter coat on. It's cold back here. Can you guys hear me? Now, Jack's missing half my words. But Justin, is it working? Is it working? Inga, is it working? Because if not, I'll just shut it off. I'm going to do something else. Right? I am able, good on your end. All right? I'm able to do this. All right? Someone I know on Facebook, pictures of their charcuterie class. I got excited until I realized that they just learned how to arrange meat on a board. Okay. Just keep going, though. It's just glitches, but it's not continual. I hear you fine, says Nicole. Okay, I'll keep going. I got a message, right? Here we are, the middle of February. The middle of February. You realize where we are? 2 more weeks. Okay, Justin. I'm gonna deliver it. 2 more weeks, and we're in spring. As far as I'm concerned, beginning of March is the beginning of spring around here, because things start to happen. We get longer days. We get milder temperatures. Right now, it's cold. It's cold. It's that wet cold. And I was out in it this morning as much as I had to, and then I retreated for another job. I just kind of had enough of it right now. So if I have to go get something, I'll do that. I'll take my time. I might even stop someplace for a cup of coffee, enjoy myself a little bit. But spring is coming. Spring is coming. And it's not just your everyday spring. I mean, this is not a typical time in American history. People have to know that. They have to know that. We're entering into a quite different phase of our lives in these United States, or as dwellers on this planet. Things are changing. We are bombarded with lots of negative stuff, lots and lots of negative stuff. I mean, I woke up early this morning, and it was one of those, I couldn't sleep. So I'm going to read something, see what's going on. I just have a feeling like maybe I got to check something and see what's going on. And I get the word. It was one of my friends said, "Hey, Canada is in martial law. Let's see, what do they call? They call it something different there, but it's wartime measures or something like that." And whoa, first time in their history that they've done that. The War Powers Act, they call it. They enacted the War Powers Act. War Powers Act being a law that can be initiated at a certain threshold. So I hear that last night, and I go to bed thinking, wow, this is, everything is move and counter move and counter move. And so you have this whole bunch of people there in Canada, truckers that have got the capital city clogged up, and they're not going anyplace, and they're being very nice. They're going out of their way to be kind to everybody they come in contact with. I've seen lots of videos, and it looks, really nice. They have the bouncy houses, and they found out that it was bothering the citizens of Ottawa when they beeped their horns, so they stopped. They quit. But you have a very potent entity there in the people. They're not going to back down, I don't think. And so on the Trudeau side, he says, he makes a, like a executive order saying no beeping horns, and then no giving diesel fuel to the truckers. And so all the Canadians go out and buy gas cans, and they're walking around town with them. Arrest them then. Go ahead and arrest me. There's nothing in here, whatever. And they're just taunting, and the truckers are being invited back to people's homes to get a shower and a warm bed to sleep in, and then they go back to their trucks, and then they have somebody will sit in their truck all night. And it's really, really good what's going on there. And I heard the demands that they have today, and the demands are actually quite reasonable, but it's going to put an end to a lot of the dictatorial measures that Trudeau has been able to put in place. And it could be a domino that just starts to tip. So it's a weird situation. It really is a weird situation. And Trudeau is trying to get he didn't actually get the War Powers Act. He asked for it from their, House of Parliament, and they haven't given it to him yet. I don't think they will. I think they're operating at a severe minority to give that to him. So I don't think he'll get it. But the news was that, hey, martial law. So it gets everybody kind of worked up. And there's several different narratives that's out there of what is happening in our world. There's several different narratives. And one of them, the one that the mainstream media is putting out, is, we're facing a catastrophe here, and if all of yous don't go out and get your, what, shot in the arm, it's going to get worse, and you're the problem. And, it's a divisionary tactic, and it's pretty obvious to people who are in the know how they operate. All the while, they're losing people out of the mainstream media left and right. Their credibility is in the can. But that doesn't mean we're out of the woods, right? We are not out of the woods. Had a guy call me today to let me know that there was a strain of chicken flu that's someplace in the south of the United States, and they had to cull out a big flock of chickens. And the way the media is portraying it is, it could spread. It probably will. So we're going to have a shortage, and that freaks everybody out. All the ships off the coast, all that stuff. It's disheartening that we don't have people running those institutions that can get things going a little smoother. Okay, I'll just leave it right there. And the list goes on and on and on. We hear it all the time. But I will tell you something, and I bet you Nicole can attest to this. I bet she can. I remember my interaction with her, and it was like, hey, let's just take this group of people. We'll get us an island, and we'll throw our cell phones away and we'll just live. We'll eat good, we'll have fun together, we'll just live. And I think there's something to that. I really do. We have a duty to stay informed, but we also have to keep from polluting ourselves so that we get all bound up with all of this negativeness that's going on. So I am going to choose to believe what is behind door C, right? Because for several reasons, we look at history and then we project out into our time what could happen. And we're watching a process of peaceful non-compliance. We're watching it, right? And some of the things that my family doesn't comply with, right? We don't comply with the rules at the public school. My kids, the rule is they have to be out for the bus with face mask on, and da 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 da. And if they're not there, the bus just goes by. We don't comply with that because we don't go to the school. We choose to school our children at home. So that's a moot point to me. I mean, I think it's terrible what's happening to these little kids, having to wear a face diaper over their face all day. I think it's doing terrible disservice. But I thought what was going on at the school 10 years ago was bad. Actually, longer than that, 20 years ago. My oldest son is, he's in his 30s, and we pulled him out. I could tell you the story of what happened, but I don't really need to go into it at this point. It was just that the people who were running the school were supposed to be adults, and they were anything but adults, And so we said, heck with that, let's just pull them out of school, And what it did is it brought educational material into our home. We've all learned a lot by schooling at home. And my kids are great kids. I've heard all the questions. Aren't you worried about their social, what is it people always say? Their social interaction skills? Aren't you worried about that? Actually, no, because if they're in a classroom with 28 other 10-year-olds, they're surrounded by foolishness. So actually, no. So the title of this, it stems from another presentation that I listened to, and he wasn't talking about farming. He wasn't. But that's what we talk about. We talk about farming, talk about living intentional lives. More and more, we're talking about our own personal and mental health. I was talking with my daughter-in-law today, and we were talking about, what we want to do with our lives. And I had to point out to her that I don't really believe that money will make you happy. I think that if you're doing something that you feel strongly about and that fulfills you, no matter what it is, that's more important than making a pile of money. But I didn't always feel that way. I mean, there was a time when I thought, being a serviceman for 20 years, being poor all that time, watching all the people around me going on vacations and having really nice cars and boats and stuff like that. And here I am in the service thinking, yeah, patriotism, defend the country, but you're poor. You're poor, right? But I didn't see what I do now. I may not have had a lot of money. We may have driven always 10-year-old cars. But I had a lot of good friends, and I was always doing interesting stuff. And my friends had interesting stories to tell me, and it was a highly technical group of people. So we figured lots of things out that we were doing on our own. So it was a good, rich lifestyle. And I didn't see it because I couldn't compare it to anything else. But here we are again. we have been given for the last couple of years a serious point of view that we didn't have before. You hear guys talk about, well, we've got to prep because zombie apocalypse is coming. I don't know where that idea came from. Maybe somebody knows something about everybody that's, I don't know. I've heard all the stories. They're going to turn on the 5G towers, and everybody that's gotten the vaccine is going to, they're going to freak out. I don't know. I don't think I go with all that. But we do have a point of view now that we did not have prior to the Wu flu, and before that too. There was a lot of struggle in the Trump years. A lot of people, conservatives especially, I thought a lot of what got done was good. It was like the time, it was a good time for him to throw down the gauntlet and say, we're going to do away with this foolishness. And now we've got, the foolishness continuing. And that's political stuff. But what I am talking about is taking back your power, right? Taking it back, right? Because, all right, if you're going to take it back, was it taken from you? And we need to talk about that. Was it taken from you? I hear so many people say, well, I had to. Yeah, you gotta wear a face mask going in there. You have to. And I quiz them a little bit. And I'm like, what do you mean you have to? Like the only, even with my children, do they have to? In my house, I could see the kids saying, well, I got it, Dad said. Well, I mean, you could say no. I mean, there might be some consequences, but you can say no. But generally, because of the threat of the consequences, a child will consent. Okay, because I don't want to get over Dad's knee, or I don't want to get put in timeout, or whatever people do anymore. I haven't disciplined my kids like that in a long, long time. It's usually just a look, or come over here and sit down. We're going to have a talk. And there's very little corporal punishment, because we work together, so there's a good understanding around here. And so first you have to determine how your power has been left your control. How did that happen? And I think if you look at it, most times it's through consent. You've consented to it. The Walmart greeter guy says, you've got to put a mask on because I say so. Well, you should be saying in your mind, well, what happens if I don't? I think I'm going to find out, right? Because it's not a big deal wearing a face mask. It's not a big deal. They can't put you against the wall and shoot you. He's not carrying a pistol. He can't touch you. You'll own the store if he does touch you. So what if you just walk past? You just keep going. After a while, they get tired of it and they just leave you alone. I mean, at first it was a little, people learn through this whole process that, it's not the law. I'm not saying that you can violate the law. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, in effect, you've already consented to the law because your elected officials have represented you on your behalf. And when, they all agree that, hey, armed robbery is a bad thing, you've already consented to that because we're in a representative republic. We're not a democracy. And they vote on your behalf. Now, it's fluid. You could pressure hard enough, like let's say that they try to put forth a bill saying no carrying gas cans around. Well, it might, you never know. They might get somewhere with that. And it might even get signed into law by some lunatic governor like we have in the state of Michigan. It might, but that's not the end of the story. It can be repealed. Lots of stuff has been repealed. Prohibition was repealed, right? And, this whole process has been good for America because now we know the difference between a mandate, a regulation, a fatwa, and a law. There is a difference between all of those things. Who issues them has a lot to do with it too, right? If somebody at a township level issues a rule, shove your rule. If it's not consistent with my constitutional rights, you can shove that, right? And counter move, shove it. Now it's their move. What are you going to do? I don't know. What will we do? You know. So, in the event you get summons to court, you go to court with your constitution. I'm going to represent myself. I'm not following this rule because my constitution says. And so, does the Constitution does it carry more authority than some rule that Aunt B makes? Absolutely. And you may have to go to court and you may have to make that. But chances are they're not going to summon you to court because before that happens, they tell you, well, you've got to get a permit to set a tent up in your yard, which is what's going on in this county in one of the townships. I can't do anything about that because the people in the township are like, well, it's the law. And I say, it's not the law. Was that signed into law by the governor or the president? No. It's just some idiot at a township level that has really, a lot of them have nothing better to do during the day. Look, okay, I'll be on the township. They have nothing better to do. So anyway, it's sad, but you know, when you see this creeping tyranny at a township level, it's usually because of ignorance. It's usually ignorance. You know, if people will stand up and say, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not getting a permit, $50 a weekend to set up a tent in my yard because my right to carry out a lawful activity on my property is protected under the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. And if you don't like it, why don't you summons me to court? But until then, get the hell off my property before I arrest you, right? And then I'll call the state police once you're hogtied for not leaving my private property. All right. So anyway, we're going into this is 2022, and we're going into a completely different spring. It is going to be a completely different spring. I can feel it. And we have to decide which processes we want to take back. Which processes we want to take back. And I'm not really here to talk manufacturing because that's not my thing. I'm not really into manufacturing. I mean, I'm kind of into it. I think I love the process of manufacturing, but I don't really do that. And I am more, I don't know. I come in, I feel like at a more base level. I was the kind of kid that in the summertime, for no particular reason, I just slept out. I just liked it. I liked the noise of the night. I liked the smell in the morning. I liked everything about it. It just made me feel good to do stuff. I liked being in the woods. I've always liked wildlife. I like animals a lot, and I always wanted to have something to do with, with animals, livestock, and stuff. It took me a while. My wife for a long time said, "No, you're more of a maintenance guy. I don't see you with animals." But now I like them a lot better than my maintenance background. I do. So that's where I come in. I come in on a more of a biological base level, and then I'm working my way up from there, trying to learn new processes and new technologies and the things that seem to have connectiveness to the animals and the processing of animals and keeping and fencing and feeding and then the soil, all that biology is really of great interest to me. When I was a kid, one of the things that I did that I look back on and it brought me great enjoyment was I had a terrarium, and I don't know what this thing was, but my father gave it to me, and it was sort of a cover to a piece of electrical equipment. And I remember it was pretty old, and it was completely glass, and it sort of had a thick rim around it, but it was square, almost like an aquarium, but it was a single piece. And I had it tipped up, and I had dirt in it, and then I put some plants in it, and I would add plants. I found a salamander and put it in there. I put insects in there and all kinds of stuff. And it was on my table in my room, and I could wake up in the morning and I could look right in there, and the sun would be coming through the window, and it was really a neat thing. And it was a terrarium. I had a frog in there, and I don't know if something happened to the salamander. I never did know what happened to him. And then on my desk next to it, on my table, I had a hamster. She didn't do well in there. Had to take her out. So I was really into that, and that's where I come in. All right. And so the other day, I got this feeling that 2022 is the year that we put the pedal to the metal. All right. I just have a feeling, and I can't really back it up with too much, other than the meek will inherit the earth. I'm quite sure of that. And then you watch what's going on in Canada, unless the whole thing's a psyop. And I know, I just watched this thing, Owen Benjamin has made a big deal out of the organizers, and one of them's name is BJ Dichter. And it seemed like a fake name, It seemed like one of those, like a name that somebody would make up just to mock, decent people. Okay. But I just saw Jordan Peterson interview a guy by the name of Ben Dichter. And so I said, I got to watch this. I got to know if this guy is legit. And he may be completely a Halloween character, but I listened to the words that he said and what they want from their government. And it's no different than what we want from our government. And then I see our governor over here, the truckers have the bridge coming over to Detroit backed up as well. And American truckers from our side have it backed up. And it's costing, I think, $40 million a day to the auto industry. And so they're breathing down the neck of the governor to get it cleared. And she's saying, yeah, BJ. Yeah, I know. Benjamin Dichter. I know. I heard it. But who's to say that Owen Benjamin isn't part of it too? The kid seems to have answers for everything, Jack. I'm just watching what is happening. So I know we're watching this unfold. Time will tell, and we both have agreed on that. I know that's a crazy name, but I have seen these meetings where the organizers there was one today, the organizers, it seems like the battle staff of the convoy, they have these meetings, and they're very open about what they're doing and how they're supporting the truckers, because those guys been there, 17 days now, right? That's a lot of idle time. That's a lot of diesel fuel, but they're making it, right? So anyway, but what does this mean to us? And this is where we are. This is where we are. I mean, all that just to set up what I'm saying here. And I hope I can get it across. I know personally, I feel it. I really feel it. I feel this surge of people that are saying, hey, we want to learn from my experiences. I'm getting a lot of that. They want to learn from my experiences. I've been farming now for 25 years, something like that. And I guess I'm the kind of person that likes to learn and try new things and read and all that stuff. So It's not that I say, well, I'm going to make this diversified. It's just that my life has been diversified. There's a lot of stuff that, I lose interest with it before it gets finished. And, that's the story of my life. But there's just a lot of stuff happening. And I've had a lot of experiences. And I'm really interested by other people who have unique experiences. And so I have a lot of friends like that. So there's just a lot of, and I'm hearing from all these people that want the same. Their point of view over the last couple of years has changed, and now they're saying, I want that. Or I want a part of what you're doing, or a facet of what you're doing, or part of what your wife is doing, or part of what your sons are doing. I want part of that. I want to make that part of our life. And that is encouraging to me. And if I were looking at the next 30 years of just growing pasture poultry, butchering chickens, swimming, my own thing, I would be thinking, I don't know. I think I might like to try out a little commercial fishing up off the coast of British Columbia. I might like to try that. And I would probably do it. I probably would. I mean, I'm a trigger puller big time. And I do like this. But I don't know is plucking chickens until I'm, 96 years old is going to be exactly, a challenge. I would like to do something else. But then for me, what dropped in my lap was this whole teaching thing and passing this stuff on to other people. And for some reason, I like it. I get a real buzz out of it. I think it's the thing to do. And I feel like I'm fulfilling my mission. I was trying to tell you yesterday, and then we got cut off, but we went up to Susan Greaves this weekend. She had a paying cow up there. And, it wasn't a class. It was just helping out a neighbor. So we went up there and shot her cow, and she didn't have much for facilities. So we just said, okay, well, we can do it without facilities. Let's just do it. And so we did. We threw down on it and had a fun time. They're nice people. I really appreciate them being fearless, just fearless. There were a few tears. I mean, the cow was a pain to them, but they also kind of loved her. I love some of my cows, but I don't shed tears after I shoot them, and not anymore. So on the way home from that, it was probably 2 PM, I think, when we were coming home. And it was just me and Jill went. We were driving the Pilot, driving back, and, our clothes are a mess. And, I'd been kneeling in manure juice. And so my knees are soggy and my crotch was soggy from something I sat on. And, but we really felt like, hey, that was good. That was fun. I had a good time. I feel good. I feel for Saturday, hey, got something good done. Got to come home, play with my grandkids. It was a good day. And it made me think, okay, this is what to do. So here we are going into 2022. You want to take your power back. Maybe you don't. A lot of people don't want to take their power back. They want the nanny state. They want the guaranteed income. They want just a place to stay. Oh, the toilet gets plugged up. I don't fix that. Some people want that. Fine, if that's what you want. I'm glad it's there for you. I can't provide it for you, and I don't think I should be providing it for you. But if that's what you want, go ahead. Me, I've always wanted to be away from that, because I have got this thing. I don't like being told what to do. And when I'm beholding, right, to, let's say, an apartment complex that I live in because it's free, because it's government subsidized and all that stuff, and they can tell me what day to put my child, or they can tell, no, that's not a good one, but they can tell me how high to keep my grass. I lived on base for a while, right? Base housing in the Air Force. and they actually have people that work for the base housing authority will go around and you'll get a ticket, and you get so many demerits if you're not keeping your quarters up, and they'll really bug you if your grass is a little bit too long. I didn't like that very well, so I avoided it totally. I would just make sure my lawn was mowed, and so I had no, I had no involvement. But let's say my kids go to school. The school, actually, it's their school. They can tell me, what my kids can and can't do. They can tell me, well, at our school, the boys can go in the girls' room, and the girls can, they can go in the boys' room and stuff. And I don't really have a whole lot to say, right? But if I don't want that, then I do my own. I do my own. I do it here. And I get to be the arbiter of what is right and what is wrong for my family. My prerogative. It's always been there. No one's trying to take it away from me. No one has the right to take it away from me because of my Constitution. I just have to know how to pull that baby and get ready to swing it and be willing to. And after you understand it, it doesn't really take a whole lot of courageousness to pull that out. You just have to be able to recite it and know it better than the people that are trying to, tell you what you got to do, right? So once you pull that sword a couple times, they back away. They don't want to fool with you. So here we are going into 2022. I don't know if I'm making my point. It was clear as a bell yesterday. Clear as a bell. I told you about. I'll run through it again though. We have people that are in our tribe, right? Our tribe that are saying, you know what? I'd really love to, kind of learn from you so I can have a basis to start my homestead. And this started with the nomad community. Some people that were in the last class that we did, there was actually 4 nomads there, and one of the men that was there sat down with me and just shared his story, said what he wants. He's very direct, what he wants, and the direction he wants to take his life and his family. And I thought, man, if we had about 10,000 guys like that, we would turn this country, right? We would literally turn this country with 10,000 guys like that. They want control of their family. They want to live intentionally, and they stand for truth, justice, freedom. They stand for that, right? And I pondered that. How do you do that? How do you, of course, being military, I think a lot of times we always seem to tend to go towards violence, right? Military is, make no mistake, I mean, just so you know, the military is there to kill people and break stuff. That's what we do really good. We're really good at killing people and breaking stuff. And we practice killing people and breaking stuff all the time, right? And then when the president needs a big stick, he calls the military. And some people will say that he calls the Navy, some people, but he always calls the Air Force. We all know that. That's not the way. That is not the way. The way is peaceful noncompliance. And that noncompliance, there's another component of that. Like, if I have to go into the post office, let's say, that's not a good example. Well, yeah, okay, let's say the post office. And the post office says, you got to have shoes on to come in here, and I don't like wearing shoes. And I go in there and say, the lady says, you can't come in without shoes on. I'm not even going to service you without shoes on. And she's behind the desk with the window and everything. Well, you either comply or you jump on your pony to get your letter delivered. And I say, if it's a big enough deal to you, jump on your pony and deliver your, or find another way. So um, we had an opportunity to go and do something, a speaking engagement, far away. Wasn't going to drive. It was too long, be too far away from the home. Airfare, and I could have made some money. But you know what? To go on their airplane, they say you have to comply with our rules, and I said, I'm not going. I have my, the $1,500 that they were going to pay for my airfare there. Now you can't, because I'm not going to comply with your little thing. I'm not going to. I just decided that I'm not going to. But let's say their little thing was, you have to eat a kosher meal on there. I'd say, well, I'm still not going, because I don't want to eat a kosher meal. I don't even know what it is, but I don't want it. Or let's say that you have to be up to date with your shot records. I'm not going. I'll find another way. I'll create my own. If I need to speak, I don't need to go to California to speak. And the more I think about that whole speaking thing, if you're just going to speak to a big group of people, like let's say instead of the Super Bowl halftime show, they had me, right? I'll be talking to a great big group of people. How many of them are going to go home the next weekend, I'm looking at you, Nicole, and kill their own pig? And then write it in a nice letter to me. Oh, that letter, it's here someplace. I had it on the board for a long time. And communicate that, hey, I took the class, I went home and did it. Victory. And now I've done it again and again and again. And now I can teach it. We're going to have 10,000 families like that. We're going to have it that way. So anyway, I was contemplating how this nomad community and the other community too. I'm not saying, Justin's not part of the nomad community. Nancy's not part of the nomad. Debbie's not. Debbie's been here. Coastal hasn't been here yet, but gonna. Canucks in the house. Way to go. Way to go. Americans are getting a little bit more respect for you, Canucks. Not that we didn't have a lot of respect for you, but because we do. We do. I've got a lot of Canadian friends. I used to live in Maine, northern Maine, and New Brunswick was right across, and I spent a lot of time over there. Wandered over there a couple times and, met a nice group of people over there. So anyway, we're wondering, how is it that we're going to be able to communicate this information to this nomad community, like this one man that sat down next to me? How am I going to communicate? Was he going to follow me around here all day long? How am I supposed to get this work here done? This is a real live farm. Stuff really has to be done every single day. And if it doesn't get done, then I may have communicated something to you, but I think there's going to be a bit of frustration in my voice because I don't have time to do that. When we set aside a weekend and we do a class on a specific function, okay, this is how you break down a pig. There's a lot of information there, but it is a specific function. That is one thing for sure, because we set it up. We have, we hire people to come in to do the cooking, and help with the cleanup, and me and Jill kind of break away from our parenting duties and focus on the class. And we've been doing it a lot. We've done it for this, I think this is our 11th or 12th year. I cannot remember, but we usually do about 4 or 5 of them a year. So we've done quite a few of these classes. We could probably do it standing on our heads. Like, we don't have to go through the book anymore. It's all kind of memorized. But what about the other things? Is breaking down a pig, is that paramount to fence building? No, I don't think so. It's, as a matter of fact, if this was Homesteading 101 and I had to do a step-by-step class, one of the first chapters, maybe the fourth, would be, this is how you build a fence. This is a fence that works for cows. This is one that works for goats. This is one that works for pigs. This is one that works for rabbits, right? I mean, they're all different. They're not all the same. You can do combinations of, a woven wire and an electric and a barbed wire. You can, and you can have multiple species that stay in. But let's talk about that a little bit. Don't go out and, well, I want to go to the moon, so let's just on the first try see if we make it. That's not the way to do this and be successful. And being successful is part of the discipline of anyone can farm. It isn't how to fail. Anyone can farm. We're passing on information that is taxi tested tough. You remember that commercial? What was that? It was for a battery, a Sears battery. Taxi tested tough. Right? It's tested techniques and procedures that work. I'm not telling you things that don't work. Why would I do that? And people have come back to me and said, well, that didn't work. And a lot of times when I follow up on it, it's because you didn't follow directions. Oh, I didn't think you meant that. I mean what I say. Say what I mean, right? So, I was kind of at a stopping point. How are we possibly going to pass on this information? And that would be passing information to one guy. And then he wants to pass it to his family. Well, at the end of the season, we've had an impact, but we haven't had an effective impact, I don't think. That wouldn't be effective to me. That's not going to help us to get to that 10,000 mark. So then I had this revelation, and I do believe it was a revelation, and it would be sort of like the way we do things in the service. Andy with us tonight? I don't think I've seen him. But I had long ago decided, I think it was after the Tribe Day last year, we had people come that brought trailers and they wanted to stay for the weekend, tents, all that stuff. You know what? It was no hassle at all. It's just like they set their thing up, and when they left, there was tire tracks there. People are good. I've said that about American people. They're good. And people that are coming to Tribe Day to learn things, they're not going to leave a mess. If they do, it'd be an accident. And it's not going to happen. You're dealing with the tribe people that are here for a reason. They're not here for the ethereal. That's not a good word. They're not here for the small things in life. They're here for the deep subjects. Where your food comes from, how to prepare it. Let's share information. This isn't a multi-level marketing scheme. It isn't something like that. That's not what it is. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. And part of it is you come to Baker's Green Acres, you get immersed in it. You get immersed in my children, you get immersed in my associates and my wife and my friends and all that stuff. And that is good. That is good. That is what community is. And that's what it's all about. We have people, I can think of a couple families right now that came here for classes. They were in different classes, but they were very alike in their wants and needs and family structure and stuff. And now they're friends. And now they're swapping stuff. They're swapping skills and all this. That might not have happened. So this is good. So we're going to see the ripple effect of this later on, and it's going to be a good ripple effect. But how do we make an even better ripple effect? So I had this idea. We're going to have people, I'm putting together campsites on the farm, right? And some of them will be primitive and some of them will have water and maybe even electric. Like you could pull a fifth wheel up, and like you can stay. It's on this beautiful farm in northern Michigan, out in the middle of nowhere. Do what you want, swim in the pond, go golfing, go out to the coast and see the lake. There's lots and lots of things to do. Get ice cream in town. There's lots of things to do. Mini golf. We got mini golf. They got a hotel in town. They got remote controls for the TV, I hear, and cable. So there's lots of things to do here. And that was nice. That was a nice thought. Like somebody would through Airbnb would want to book a stay here. And let's say they're staying 2 nights and, well, you're at campsite F. Should I go over and introduce? Do they even want to? I mean, I don't know. They might just be coming through town and like, okay, let's stay here. It's sort of like when my food, the food that I produce, winds up at a restaurant. And somebody's, wow, this is good chicken, isn't it? Wonder where they get this. Don't care, but good chicken. There's a disconnect. So we have this. That's why this is so important, Justin. So I'm glad this got straightened out. We have this communication outlet into a group of people. Look, there's 24 years now. And I want it to get bigger. So I need your help to do that. And we're able to say, okay, who wants to be part of the work camp program, the Anyone Can Farm work camp program? Who wants to play? Well, what is it? It's you can stay here Sunday to Sunday. So you get here on a Sunday, get yourself set up, plugged in and stuff. Monday morning, 8 o'clock, 0800. You civilian people, you show up at the chow hall. We don't have it built yet, but we're going to. Show up at the chow hall. We'll be having coffee and we'll have a quick briefing and meet and greet and all that. So let's say you had these families that are saying, well, I want to go up there. I get to stay for a week. And every day I am obligated through agreement to work 6 hours at Baker's Green Acres. Mark's a good guy, though. I know he's not just going to have me shoveling manure, although he might. No, his mission is to motivate, educate, motivate. And what is it again? Educate, motivate, inspire.
Inspire, educate, empower.
Empower. Inspire, educate, and empower. I should know my mission. Embarrassing, right? And if we work together, so let's say we had 6 people that are going to be staying for the week. They're going to be camping. At night, they'll have their campfire. They'll go get ice cream and maybe head out to the lake, go swimming and stuff. 0800. 5 days a week, they're going to be throwing down for 6 hours. And maybe on Thursday, we'll have a communal meeting. We'll have a communal, feed, evening meal at the campfire or in the chow hall or whatever. What happens when you do that? What happens? All right, well, I still get to do what I need to do here to make sure things run smooth and special projects, stuff like that. I basically would be overseeing, okay, who wants to do fencing with Jim? Who wants to do fencing with Jim? I need to learn how to fence. Okay, you guys go with Jim. Who likes to do this? And who would like to do this with Frank? I like to do that. I would like to do that, right? Who has experience working in the garden? We got to do some transplants from the greenhouse into the garden. Who would like to do that? Oh, I've never done that, but can I work with Jill doing that? You sure can. All right, see? And then, well, it's Friday. It's butchering day. Who wants to butcher chickens? Debbie, I'm going to get to that in a minute because we've had a breakthrough there too. Just a tremendous breakthrough. I mean, tremendous about merchandise. All right. Debbie, I owe you one of these. It was supposed to be in your book. You're a very gracious woman. Me and Debbie go way back. So what happens here? We have what you would call a cross-pollination. We're going to have people come here that know how to do stuff we don't know how to do. And in the course of our noon meals and evening meals, we're going to be like getting to know each other. Oh, so what do you do? Oh, you're a software engineer? Hey, I got a little bit of a problem with my internet. You think, oh yeah, I know all about that. Oh, so there's a cross-pollination, right? You may have people who have never done any of the Homestead things that we have gotten good at over the years, and would be chomping at the bit to work with us. So when they leave, Harville, that's good. Well, these are civilians that I got to work with here, you know. Army, 06, Air Force. We get up so early, brother, we don't even go to bed. That's how early we get up. All right. So I am formulating this in my mind, and I am going to put a name on it, and we're going to actually have a schedule. So if you want to participate in it, you would have to be on the schedule, and I guess it could be like a 2-day thing. I guess it could be a 3-day, but ideally, I would like to see a 5-day. That's what I would like to see. But, you know, we'll work with whatever we have. But there's only a certain amount of spots on the farm to stay at this point. So you'd have to bring your own stuff until when Justin gets up here for his week, he's going to be working on the schoolie for 5 days. And no 6 hours for you, buddy. I'm going to get my time out of you. The whole schoolie thing, that's this here. This is the school bus. I'm getting really geeked about building out school buses to be, you know, a platform where you can go to a location and you can do classes out of the, you know, hog butchering classes and beef butchering classes out of the schoolie, and then we get to stay there. You know, we get to stay on somebody else's farm there. Get up in the morning, stretch, take a shower right in the school bus. That's what they call them. They call them schoolies. And then go to work teaching. Be excellent. Be going over to Minnesota, over to see my buddy Harley. Yeah, doing classes over there. That'd be awesome. But see, we're entering a completely different phase now. This is 2022. This is now, I mean, last year's actually, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought it was a symptom of 2020, to where we had the Tribe Day. It wasn't my idea. It was Amy Stumpo's idea. And then Jill was like, yeah. And then Rachel Jamerson, yeah, I'd like to help with that. And then everybody that they asked to come and speak and do a presentation on some little function, some facet of homesteading, everybody said yes. Everybody. And everybody did a bang up job. The way it was put out, Tribe Day, was put out over this method, you know, through the show and on Facebook. And we had 85 people show up. 85 people on our little farm. That's a lot of people. And I think this year it's going to be double that. I just have a feeling. And everybody that we've already had our initial meeting, everybody's feeling like at least that, you know. We have all of our speakers already, not really speakers, presenters, all right? So anybody that presents, they're going to be presenting something that they do. And if you sit in on their class, you're getting firsthand tutoring from somebody that actually does the thing. So they have the power to teach it. Do the thing, you will have the power. We want to empower people through this program, right? Well, anyway, the tribe day, I thought it was just that people were lonely because they were cooped up. But no, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. People are saying, I want control of my food supply. And from control of your food supply comes control of your recreation, comes control, a lot of control of your health, a lot of control over your mental health, which is big these days. It's big. You be around other people who are mentally okay, or halfway there at least. If you're listening to the TV all the time, you're surrounded by, I don't know. We don't do it, but I know a lot of the ones that have gone down the road lately. A lot of the TV personalities that I have made fun of pretty continuously on this show. They're all gone, or a lot of them are gone, and the rest of them are on really thin ice. And they were the bringers of negative news. I believe that there's been a shift in I don't know what to call it exactly. A shift in consciousness. Like even me, I grew up in a house full of girls, 5 girls, and I really like to needle. I get a real bang out of needling people. If they kind of irritate me, I just like to, but I've got to control. I'm that's under control. I have that under control right now. I'm not doing that, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on a lot of fun. I My circle has gotten a lot bigger pretty quickly, and there's been a couple times when I've had sort of a nagging person, and my first response was to like bark at them and back them off, but I'm not doing that. I'm not. I'm realizing that everybody has needs and wants, and when they come here, they're not coming here to get barked at. They're coming here to gain. They're coming here to shift their footing. I've seen tremendous things with people who were just barely existing. They were just existing, and with health problems, and when you're in that way, you can see why people just barely exist. But something came alive in them and said, you know what? I'm not done yet. I'm going to do this. And they do it. And I'm going to do this. And they do it. And then all of a sudden their world opens up and it's like, hey, I'm only 60 years old. There's plenty of things to do still, plenty of fun to have. Right? And so I'm seeing this. And so this is why our message going into spring of 2022, this could be a very exciting time. It could. If we all of a sudden go into 2022 and all of a sudden, hey, can you help with this? Can you help with this? We've got a tremendous need for this help here. Are we going to be ready? I'm going to do everything that I can do to make 2022 the best year that I've been here. I am going to do that. And I'm not just saying, woo, 2022. I'm saying, okay, what will make this work better? I am asking those questions. What's going to make this better? So all the things that I'm doing, what is going to make it better? Like my walking around here saying, how in the heck am I going to help this guy by him following me around for a week? I'm going to wind up saying, will you leave me alone? Just leave me alone. How am I going to do this? And all of a sudden, boop, it came into my head, the work camp program. And it's you're starting a group at the beginning of the week. Let's say you get a straggler that comes in during the week. They'll watch what everybody else is doing and they'll just kind of go with it. Is it imperative that they get the maximum number of feet done of fencing? No, it isn't. What's the mission? The mission is to empower, inspire, and equip. I forgot it already, but it's all those things, right? That's the mission. Let's say, we did have a direction that, hey, a nice facet on this farm would be to have campers stay here, and it's some extra money. It's passive income. Nothing wrong with that, right? Let's say I have somebody stay for a bunch of days, and I have a bunch of dollars in, and I say, oh, with this bunch of dollars, I can get the roof or the fixture, let's say the kitchen cabinets installed in the chow hall. I can get that done. Well, I just have to call up a local contractor, and well, he gets $75 an hour, and he's going to be on his phone for 10 minutes out of an hour anyway. And then, if I'm paying all this money to have it done, it needs to be done right. And that's hard these days, right? But when you have guys that are leaning forward, say, hey, I want to learn homesteading things. Yeah, I can help you with these cupboards. I can do that. I can put up a couple of them. Yeah, sure, I can do that. Excellent, man. Excellent. And then, there's not a dollar exchange, but there's a skills exchange. And we get to know each other. We get to work each other. Can you imagine if you had somebody, well, I've got people, right? Debbie Van Fossen has been here. I don't know how many years you've been coming here now, but that's ship, and that is worth something. It's worth, I don't know, I'd want to cheapen it by putting a dollar amount on that, but that's worth something. I mean, that's real value, right? Yeah. So this whole program has really taken on legs, and I would like people in the tribe, if they are so inclined, that would like to, do a vacation from wherever they are. Let's say they're nomads, or they have a farm and they can break away for a week. Come and immerse yourself in it, work with us, and then you will take some of this home with you, and you will leave some of yourself here, and that's community. That's community. And I'm thinking, like with Anyone Can Farm, we have one farm. We don't work with them anymore, but they're doing our program on their farm. We did it there for years, and then they just didn't call us back. Actually, there was some political differences, and so they didn't call us back. But they're doing it on their own, and I'm not working with them anymore. But good on them, right? Actually, it was the guy that said that early on, I forget who it was, called COVID-19 the China flu. And this guy did not like that and said that we were racists for that. And I defended the guy that said it. I said, it comes from China. So don't start that racist stuff here, Well, not with me. Don't start that with me. And hey, whatever. The idea is with the Anyone Can Farm program, when people are with the program for a while, like the clerics have pulled the trigger on it. Actually, they have taken the Homestead Hog Harvest class, and then one other class too. Oh no, it was just a beef butchering. It wasn't really a class. It was just a beef butchering get together. It's I'm just gathering data for the class. And then they said, okay, we want to do hog harvest at our place. We will host it, and we would like you, Mark and Jill, to come and teach it. And I said, fine. Can you get 12 people together? Yes. Okay, I'm going to need a deposit. And she's like, boom, deposit in hand. So her and Tommy are not kidding around. They want to do this. And I've got to say that I really want you to do this. This is my wish for that family and several other families too. I want you to do this. And when you feel comfortable, you say, okay, I'm ready to do this on my own. And I'll be like, excellent. Vaya con Dios. do that. That's how we're going to get our 10,000 families, right? And then we move on to the next thing, the next person that wants to host a class. And you're expected to do the same thing. I can't make you, but that would be a nice thing. They've captured the vision of what this is. And I don't think that this vision is like, hey, we can be rich. We can make $1 million doing this, teaching people how to butcher hogs. I don't think so. I think you'd be better off robbing banks if that's what you want to do. But we're going to create community. And myself, the best thing that I've done this month was get together with a bunch of these families and butcher a cow. That's the funnest thing that I've done this month. And then last weekend was probably second because it wasn't as big a crowd. It was still fun. It was still a lot of fun. It's the people, being with the people. Can you imagine, like, if we had a settlement and we all got along together like that? Probably wouldn't last very long. I don't know. Okay, that's the end of that. But you're going to hear more about that, and I'm going to set it up from this date in the spring until this date in the fall, and it's going to include the seasonal things that happen. We're obviously not going to be butchering pigs in the summer. We do turkeys during this time. So if you were here for that, you would be able to participate in that and see what that's all about. But the idea is to get you up to speed so you can go and do it on your own. Okay. All right, beautiful. 9:18, and we seem to have internet that's working really good. And Debbie asked about merchandise. Okay. The way we do things here, I mean, our way is a little different. There are companies that you can call and you can say, okay, can you make a Baker's Green Acres mug? Man, how's this one look? And they'll shove it over the internet and you say, okay, how much? And they'll say X amount. And then you say, okay, send me 2 of them so I could sit here and I could drink out of one. So you want one of these mugs? Farm experience on it, Baker's Green Acres, or things like that. And people say, yeah, I want one of those. And then whatever they wanted for it, we mark it up, $2, and then they drop ship it to you. I never even touch it. And it's got a logo on it that appears to be a Baker's Green Acres logo, or Anyone Can Farm Tribe logo, or whatever. And you get it up in the morning, have your coffee, and you think of, I'm going to go out there and make a difference. Be more self-sufficient, all that stuff. And that would be okay. But our idea. And look at our lap. My old son, he's a fireman. His wife, my daughter-in-law, her youngest is a year and change. And she's getting the hang of the whole thing. And she's like, hey, I want to do something. I want to do something else. So she's tutoring my boys. And there's an exchange that happens there. And then she's like, I still want to do something else. She bought herself a kiln and then a pottery wheel. She wants to get into doing pottery. And she's doing pretty good. She made me a really nice coffee cup for my Christmas gift, and I really like it, and it's really unique, and it's definitely all her in it. I really like it, and I'm really encouraging. Well, she responded to an ad about these molds that you do ceramics with, and it's a technique. You have 2 molds that go together, and you pour this mud in, and you swish it around, and then you pour out the excess after a few minutes, and you let it sit. Then you break the mold open, and then it's like a green thing. It's green pottery. And you have to shape it a little bit. You can put designs on it, and then you can you bake it one time, and it's called bisque, I guess. And then you put glazing on it, you write on it whatever you want, and then you kiln dry it again, and it comes out, and it's sort of porcelain looking thing. She got at least 500 of these molds from a guy who bought them and was going to resell them, had no luck reselling them, and he just gave them to her. Right? Van load after van load after van load. They've got eagles and gnomes and farm animals and cups and saucers and you name it, all pictures, all kinds of stuff. So I said to her, I'd like to put in an order, please, for custom-made mugs. I would like some to have the Anyone Can Farm Tribe logo on them. I would like some to have the Baker's Green Acres logo on it, which Susan Greaves' daughter is making for us, helping us out because we helped them out with our cow. That logo is going to mean a lot to me. You know, it'll be like, I remember that day that we butchered Susan's cow. We're becoming good friends, right? So these are merchandise. You know, Debbie was asking about merchandise. This is merchandise. This was made by a tribe member. Lorna made this, and Lorna is a real person, by the way. Lorna is a real person. Isn't that neat? These cups will be unique. Everyone will be very unique. They will not all be the same. And I will have some of them here. We will have a bunch of them that go into the outpost that people can get like on Tribe Day and things like that. But we'll be able to sell them through this. And all I have to do is sit here and drink milk out of them or coffee or whatever. And people say, I got to have one of those. I got to have one. So it just dropped right into us. And, you know, my son Kyle would love to work with us. My son Joe is working with us. Keith works with us. Rachel works with us. I have an idea that Dorothy will be back someday. She's working another gig. Sam will be back someday. Anytime he's on leave from the Air Force, we kill the fatted calf. It's kind of a joke. Actually, he kills the fatted calf. But it'd be nice to bring everybody back in and you know, have some for everyone in the tribe to do, you know, and everyone be sufficient, everybody self-sufficient, everybody be profitable and things like that. So the idea of the Anyone Can Farm tribe is that sort of like in a tribe, an Indian tribe, if you are the one that's going to teach the young men how to hunt, are you proficient at hunting? That's what we're going to want to know before we say, hey, here's a guy that's a trainer. Here's a trainer right here. So I'm not the only one that sees the opportunities in this way of life. There is opportunity, and that's a blessing that we can prosper in the process of fulfilling our mission. That is really good. There's nothing wrong with prospering. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you don't prosper, you can't put braces on your kids' teeth, or you can't get teeth pulled. You can't pay insurances. You have to be able to do that. And so the merchandise thing it's going to be a reality here really quick. We already have hats. I'm supposed to be showing them. I always forget. But you can get hats from us for $20. We move them at our classes pretty good. I make a point of putting one on, and everybody says, well, I got to have one of those. I better go through and check these. There's been a lot of activity here, and I've been just so blabby. Okay, Nancy's with us. Nancy Dort. He's an organizer for the LGBTQ community. But there's nothing wrong with that, right? Jack, come on. Nothing wrong with that. Harvelli. Canucks are in the house. If you don't rely on the system, then you need not comply. That's an Owen Benjamin thing. And I'm right with you there. I'm right with you. But, you know, Jack, we can't just say, that. We can't just say that. We have to do the thing. We have to do the thing. And I'm here to tell you, I wasn't born a farmer. I didn't grow up on a farm. I didn't start doing this until I was 40, right? And the learning curve is steep. And you notice the school down in town, McBain Agricultural School, what are they teaching the kids that's agricultural related? Are they teaching them how to do any of this stuff? Absolutely not. They want those kids to just be a pair of hands working for an industrial ag, corporation where they do one job: drive this tractor. I shouldn't probably throw stones at them guys, but why does it say on their buses, agricultural school? Okay, if you don't rely on their systems, then you don't need to comply. But how are we going to get to the point where we're not relying on their systems? That means we have to do the thing. We have to do the thing. When you do the thing, you will have the power. You come here and you camp for a week and you do this, this, and this. You leave here saying, I know how to do that. And you really know how to do it. Yeah, it's been a while since Debbie's been here. Yes, Lorna is here, and Lorna is a real person and is asking for thumbs up. Hildy's with us. Right on, Hildy. Stromowski. I've been calling you Strombowski because I grew up with a kid named Strombowski. Every night, Justin's saying every night he sends a link to a farm friend from this live cast. I suggest everyone else do the same. It's very easy in a text. Thanks, Justin. I really appreciate that. You're doing a lot to help this, to push this this ball down the towards the goal. Oh, Love Face waiting you on 18 plus stream. Right on. I'll have to get over there and check that out. Love Face. Do you have merch for sale? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got these. The proceeds of these, and this is a sticker you can put on the back of your car so everyone will know that you're part of the tribe. They're $5, 2 for $10. And it goes into the classroom fund. This anyone can farm experience. We don't have a super chat on here. That's why those dollars don't go up. But isn't it good that we didn't do business with GoFundMe? Yeah. Chow at 800 must be an Air Force thing. Yeah, funny. Jonathan's with us. Right on. Jill, I don't know if you saw, but we put in an order today. Cool. Justin Z, I expect no less than 16-hour shifts, just like my normal job. We're going to find out that, you know what, Justin? I'm going to have to check you out. I'm not even sure you're human. You're probably one of those droids, right? That's how come you get so much information. Like a cyborg. You could be a cyborg. 16-hour shifts. You probably bring your own tools too. But let me ask you something. Have you been thinking about building out a school bus? I just wonder. Because to me, I'm on all these different groups on Facebook, and you get to see other people's builds. And I listen to a lot of the questions that people have, and there's a lot of smart people on there that have been doing it for a long time that give really good how-to information on this. A lot of engine people chime in about that 444 and the 366, the international motors. Those are the two international motors. Everything else, avoid. Mercedes, avoid. Cummins, if you can get a Cummins with an Allison transmission, that's it. Lately I've been, at first I wanted a tour bus with a gas engine. That was what I wanted at first. I thought about that for years, and I could fix it up and make it the way I wanted. And then, because I'd seen one once, long time ago, I'd seen one that somebody built. And then after talking with Sarah and Taylor out in Texas, I started thinking about the full-size bus and started thinking how that would be cool. And then I've walked around full-size buses, and I thought, do I really need this much room? I don't think I do, because Jill and I are kind of close to the earth people. We're very utilitarian people. And I'm just thinking we don't need the full-size bus. I mean, I might if one comes along and it's just like that little baby blue one that's down there in Ohio. That is a nice bus. But the slightly shorter ones, they just have a really good look about them. I don't like the flat nose. Don't even start with the flat nose. The rear engine, nope, don't like them. They remind me too much of a city bus. I don't like that. All right. We just bought stickers today. Britt says she would love a mug. Well, we're working on it. And even Jim has learned how to do printing. He's got a 3D printer that he's had for a couple of years now, and he works with he's being tutored by a kid that I tutored a long time ago, and he's being tutored by this guy on how to run that thing. DJ's like he's 30 something years old now, and Jim's pretty good at it. So he's going to be making the stamp for our logo on the cups. All right. What savings? Oh, I'm getting the merch set up. I'll send you a link as soon as we have it. Won't be as cool as Colleen's, but you'll see Mark enjoying it before long. Colleen is my daughter-in-law, and I really like her. She's a good wife for my oldest son. And me and her have intense discussions. School bus build sounds cool, but I'm on wind turbines and solar setups at the moment. Hey, that's part of a school bus build, brother. Yep. Wouldn't that be neat to just have a school bus that is, for me, when we travel someplace and I have to eat at restaurants, I mean, you got to eat, but then you got to have diarrhea for a couple of days. And I don't like that. I'd rather have our own food and our own place to cook it. That would be a big thing for me. And then a place that's secure to sleep. I don't like going in hotels. They don't feel secure to me. If I was parked on Justin's farm down in Dundee, I know I'm someplace that's, I'm within the walls of that. And if there was something wrong there, then I'll lock the bus at night, right? I'll be okay. Plus I got my blunderbuss in the bus. All right. Okay, we're at hour and a half, and I feel better than I did last night. I really got in when the thing pooched. I really did. And I just thought, well, maybe this is a door that's closing. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Honestly, I thought that because it had been failure. And we felt as though this is a new failure. This isn't the usual bad connection. This was a new thing. So it seemed like inside the perimeter, yes, right on. And, if I'm going to build a school bus, if I'm going to do a school bus build, I'm definitely putting claymores on the outside of it. There's no, and you guys might not know what claymores are. There might be one person that knows what they are. But claymores are an explosive device that when you initiate it, it explodes and it blows a bunch of fragmentation, actually like ball bearings. It blows them out away from you. So they mount them on. They get pretty. No, we're not locked into our internet provider. No. Face towards the enemy. That's right. And the enemy comes in at night and turns them around. No, they're nasty things. I've never actually been anywhere near one that's gone off, but you know. When I'm tired and down lately, I think of the tough bakers and how you always pull through. Yeah, you gotta realize too, there are times when you do not see me. When last night, when I was just, and I went in and I watched Turn. I watched 2 episodes of Turn and decided which character I will be when the revolution happens. And I hate to tell you this, I'm going to be Captain Simcoe. That's who I will be. Terrible, but he is the true warrior. He's a bit psychotic, though. All right, well, I'm going to get going. I appreciate you guys coming by. We had a good group tonight. Give us a thumbs up. Think about, please, can you run it through the whole work camp program, and if you could pass that on to anybody. Once I have it written down so people can see what it is, we'll get it up on the website. I'm not getting any pushback on it from anybody, so I think downside, I see year to year, experienced people coming on the farm. You've got a crew there. You've got a crew leader, right? And there's a lot of stuff we don't do on this farm because we don't have Canadians here. So we need some Canadians, huh? Hey, do you guys know that Canadian the Trailer Boys or something? And the guy is the guy with the glasses on, his eyes blink. His name is Bubbles. Yeah, Trailer something. Trailer Canadian Boys or something like that. I don't know. All right. We'll teach snowshoeing. All right, cool. Maybe we'll have a winter thing, but I don't think so. You see, I think what works for me is if it starts up, say, Memorial Day, and then it ends, say, after Labor Day, right? And then the winter is the farm goes dormant anyway. This is not a great place to be in the wintertime. It's okay for us because we're digging in on school and Trailer Park Boys, right on. And I'm catching up on maintenance things and things like that and building things. I've actually got a lot done this winter. But I would like, with everything, keep it seasonal, right? Keep it seasonal. You don't want to come and camp in the wintertime in northern Michigan, I don't think. Go to Florida or Texas or something, but northern Michigan is no place to be in the wintertime. Like today was a brutal day. Yesterday was a brutal day. Tomorrow's going to be a little better. It's going to be in the 30s. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, I'm going to get going. I feel a lot better. I feel like our course has been refound, and appreciate all of you. This is a team effort. Don't ever forget that. Okay. Good night. Remember, anyone can farm.